Hi, wanted to introduce you to the 10 certificates you need to keep your HMO compliant. That is your house of multiple occupation. So some are obvious, some are less obvious, but here are the 10 certificates that we think you need to keep compliant. So firstly, an annual gas certificate. This has been legislation for a long time, and most landlords do this religiously as a part of their process. 2, the electrical inspection condition report. This has always been mandatory for HMOs, and it became mandatory for non-HMOs a couple of years ago. So typically, this needs to be done every 5 years. The energy performance certificate, this is renewed every 10 years, and there's current legislation in place to say it needs to be to a minimum of a letter E, and that is due to change to get more efficient housing standards in the future. Your emergency lighting, if you have emergency lighting in your HMO, it's often required as part of your licence conditions. You need to get that tested every year. Similarly, your fire equipment needs to be tested, so things like your extinguishers need to be tested every year, again with a certificate provided. Your smoke detectors, they should be tested at least once a month, but then an annual certificate provided by an independent, competent person. Your portable appliances need to be tested to make sure they are safe, and the way to do this is with an electrician and a portable appliance test. It's recommended that every house has a Legionella's assessment done on it, at least annually, to make sure that your water supply in your house is free from the risk of Legionellas. And your HMO licence. Now this covers all the conditions that you need to adhere to operate a HMO. There's lots of conditions in that licence, and you need to meet all of those, and your council will impose those conditions upon you. And finally, is your fire risk assessment. It needs to be done every year, and our recommendation is done by a competent fire risk assessor and professional person. It will identify all the risks in the house that relate to fire and how to minimise those risks.